Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, yeah.
Sure do.
Chug wine, groan.
Oh,
God. And keep trucking.
You know, that groan sounded upset, but actually I was just really enjoying the aftertaste of a very salty potato chip.
Yum. Some of those, when they hit
was.
right, they hit real right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Big
Yep.
fan of that journey for you.
Thank you.
Big fan.
So I'm Kenyan. I moan from potato chips.
That's your preferred Dipsy story.
Whatever works.
The saltiest
Salty.
chips.
Salty and
However
sweet.
salty chips you're into.
If there is like a bowl of Doritos, I will always go to the one that's clearly the most seasoned.
Oh, that's smart.
And
That's
then
just smart.
and then I'll check both sides, and the
Uh-huh.
most seasoned side will go down on
tongue
the
down.
tongue. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Who are
Okay.
you?
I'm Lucy, and that's my kink.
That's my method. I'm Amanda, and chips, I can't look at chips long enough without just shoving them into my mouth to make any of these distinctions. So good
Right.
on you.
Yep.
My
Yep.
chips don't last long enough in the bag to be
They're down the hatch.
But
Yeah.
chips don't lie.
to be analyzed.
Chips like two battleships.
Yeah. Down the hatch, honey.
Oh, yum.
my
I'm hungry.
All right. Well, we have a very special fan pick this week, brought to you by fan picker Allison Atterbury. Atterbury.
Atta girl, atta berry.
I don't know Allison's pronouns, so.
Yep.
Atta folk.
Atta person.
Atta folk.
Thank you for being around
A
and
friend.
existing. And Allison has selected the topic of pink collar crimes.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I'd ever heard of that term.
I hadn't either. I had to text the chat and go, okay, I need some guidance here.
Yeah,
Context?
I'd heard of blue collar, I've heard of white collar, but pink collar, but I'm sure we will get to the definition in Lucy's segment. But first,
Yes.
Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing for pink collar crimes?
Okay, I want to preface this by saying I tried.
That's
Okay.
every episode.
I know. I feel like I always try, but like today,
I'm
like,
Amanda. I tried.
I tried, but like this time I actually really tried, you guys. Like this was a wine that was picked by the fan picker, and they asked about two different vineyards, not even necessarily a specific wine, but go with either this or that. I Googled them both and like went to their websites, used my location services to see which ones were available at liquor stores near me. And I found one that fit their request, and it said it was in stock at the store. And then I went to the store and they didn't have it. So I really,
Ridiculous.
the effort was 100% there. Now, had I done this ahead of time, I could have connected with the fan picker and they offered to send me a bottle. Did I do that? No, I didn't.
Well, maybe we can use their wine for another episode.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about what it is because it's a beautiful looking wine. I definitely want to try it. They recommended the Stoller family estates, and the wine that I found that was lying to me about being in stock was the 2021 Stoller Pinot Noir Rosé, and I was so excited because, you know, I fucking love rosé.
for pink collar crimes.
Gotta
Hello.
go.
Rosé for
the
pink collar
rosé.
crimes. Like, I really was gonna do this right. I was so excited. But they didn't have it. But a little bit about this wine from their website. It says, quote, a cornerstone of our production for more than a decade, we intentionally harvest a melange of Pinot clones that are then whole cluster pressed and fermented in stainless steel to achieve a balanced and bright style. I love a stainless steel fermentation on a Pinot Noir rosé. It's like the fucking best. You're just getting all of the natural flavors. I love it. This has aromas of pomelo, hood strawberry, and white nectarine that leap out of the glass, almost obscuring more bashful undertones of whetstone and uncut grass.
What the fuck is hood strawberry?
I'm not sure, but it's uppercase, so it's got to
okay.
be like a specific type of strawberry.
Good strawberry.
Okay.
The palate is topped with initial juicy citrus flavors that give way to notes of dried flowers and a lingering hint of white tea and lime pith on the finish. It sounds fucking phenomenal.
Lots of stuff in there that I'm curious about.
Willamette Valley Pinot Noir, so it's going to be just like top tier Pinot Noir and 12.5% ABV and a cracker. So she has everything I love.
So a hood strawberry is one of the sweetest June-bearing strawberries. They're from Oregon. Isn't Hood, Oregon a place?
Oh, must be. Must be. Yeah.
So they're just very, very juicy, flavorful strawberries.
Fucking yum.
Strawberries.
I couldn't get it, so I'm just drinking a G&T out of a what are they called? A Moscow Mule mug. A copper
Well, you know
cup.
what else would be great for pink color crimes is our Gal's Rosé.
It would.
Yes.
It would. And there's a new one coming. So if you have not been to our website, wineandcrimepodcast.com, go now because we have new wines that are coming and you can access them through the wine tab on our website.
I did not think that our Rosé could get any better, honestly. But this new batch,
It's
so
delicious.
good. And
Holy
we're
wow.
finally going to be offering a Sauvignon Blanc.
yes.
Lucy's dreams coming true.
It's my year.
So cheers to y'all.
Cheers.
I tried, and we're all just
Cheers.
floating on a giant rock, bubbling through the sky. Everything is dust.
yeah.
And actually, speaking of strawberries, I am drinking an Angry Orchard hard fruit cider, strawberry flavored.
Sweet.
It's something I obviously bought when I was hungry at the grocery store. Never a
Love.
good idea.
Love.
They're pretty good. I like guys.
Well, cheers.
Cheers, people.
Cheers.
Chairs.
Cheers.
Tables and chairs.
Lucy,
Cheers.
what's our background? And maybe psych for pink collar crime.
I can't not take a picture of us when we're in Skype together mode, so I'm sending it to the chat. It's too good.
It's good. We're under the sea today.
Under the sea.
Join us. We're drowning. Okay.
Join us.
We didn't float.
We're
It's
drowning.
really dark down here.
I'm scared.
I just want to be warm.
Coral is really sharp.
Coral is really sharp.
Coral.
Coral.
Oh my God. Cut all of this. Okay.
Never.
No, don't. Okay. Pink collar crime is more or less nonviolent workplace crimes, embezzlement committed by a person in a traditionally female-dominated role. It's not necessarily always committed by women.
Okay.
And I think that you could make the argument that the phrase pink collar crime is sort of sexist. I think
Yeah, you
The more-
could.
the more sexist thing is that these kind of more downstream roles have more women in them.
Mhm.
right.
It's sort of naming it's almost calling out the fact that okay, women have these opportunities more.
Well, it's like you can be a bookkeeper, but you can't be a CFO,
Mhm.
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can be, but that's
Also, we shouldn't
stereotype.
gender colors either.
Mhm.
But whatever.
Right.
Here, this is where we're at. I just wanted to get that out of the way at the top.
Mhm.
So pink collar crime refers to embezzlement related crimes, which are oftentimes, like we just said, lower to mid-level office women who steal from their employers. Examples could include bookkeepers, office managers, and accountants who have limited opportunity, but also access to intimate information.
My case today is not that.
oh, my case is that.
Okay, then perfect.
Big time.
So from pinkcollarcrime.com, a little on the nose, but okay. The term pink collar crime was popularized by Dr. Kathleen Daly during the 1980s, specifically 1989, to describe embezzlement-type crimes that typically were committed by females based on limited opportunity. In this context, women were more likely to have committed low-level crimes such as check kiting. I didn't know what this was, but it's, you know how like when you write a check, it takes a few days to actually go through?
Yeah.
So to kind of like float funds because you wrote a check for them, it's sort of like a fraudulent,
So you're just
it's like
shuffling the
fraudulent
same
credit.
money around?
Here's
Okay.
the thing.
I think so. It gets kind of complicated. I didn't get too far into it, but it has to do with the delay in which checks are actually like taken out of
Processed.
one account and put into another one.
Here's how I have 100% done that when I was poor.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like go
We've
to
all
the
done
grocery
that.
store.
Oh, yeah. Checks
and
in
like,
the mail.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like write a
you
check.
backdate it or you front
Well,
date
no,
it.
not even backdated. I'd like write a check at the grocery store and get my groceries, and then I'd go to the ATM and get cash out.
And then you go
just
sell blood.
No, and then just deal with the overdraft fees that covered my check so that my check at the grocery store wouldn't bounce. But if I needed like money that day,
You could get cash, which
you could
that
get
you wouldn't
cash
be able to get
before
cash
the check processed. Yeah,
because
I
you
think-
can't get cash if it's overdraft.
correct.
So that's a really like low level form
Yeah,
of check kiting.
if you did not have a checking account,
You're only hurting yourself in that
oh
scenario.
yeah, I
'cause
paid the fees. I
right.
paid the fees.
Right.
But getting stuck in a cycle of this is the only way I can eat this week. But now I'm going to be paying like $60 next week to cover how much I'm in the hole is not fun. But
yeah.
technically a little fraudulent. What are you going to do?
What are you gonna
I
do?
think
I call
we
it
have
smart.
all been there.
You gotta survive. You know.
Yes, you gotta eat.
But yeah, when you're like sending fraudulent checks and moving money around and it's impacting other people and other businesses, that gets fucked
That's
up.
a totally different
Well,
thing.
yeah, and I
you're
think
taking monies.
check kiting can also be a lot more complicated than that.
Oh,
That's just a
it
very, very
absolutely is.
basic baseline explanation of what that is.
That's just how I did it.
That's,
I can't even
that's your
Follow me
MO.
for more tips. More
And, like,
money
yeah.
saving tips.
And like Gen Z is like, I don't even know what a check is. So
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this before. Checks are absurd and they shouldn't exist. It's just a piece of paper with your routing and account number and your full name and address on it.
that's like a really common thing.
It's
elsewhere.
insane to me.
Like
It's not that crazy to me. You're always so disturbed by it every
It
time we
freaks
think
me
about
out.
it. But it's
it
just
freaks me out.
I
it's
don't
not
know.
like just having those numbers. Somebody could steal your identity. Like
No,
in-
but tell that to linking my online auto pay.
Well, I know, but like in South Africa, like people would have at the bottom of like their email signatures their fucking account number and routing number because you just pay people using like
direct deposit.
Like bank transfer.
yeah, exactly, bank transfers most often. That's
Yeah.
like the most common way to pay people.
Well, yeah, a lot of
scares me.
freelancers put that stuff on their invoices, and granted, it's not their email signature, but it's still not like
Right.
it's highly secure information.
It just
Right.
freaks me out. I'm never going to not be freaked out by it. Moving on.
Well, I feel like we won't even be thinking of checks in the next 10 years. So
We've been saying that for a long time, and yet people are still using
we
checks.
have to let that generational turnover, if you know. what I
I
mean.
only use checks because I've been locked out of my Venmo and I cannot get back in thanks to having
I
lived
use checks
abroad.
pretty right. I have a whole stack of checkbooks right here. Look,
That's
these are all my
completely nuts.
checkbooks. Yeah, I don't know.
When I
don't
used to
think it's
bank
that
with
weird.
Citibank, they were like, "Do you want just whatever like free checkbook we have?"
What is that?
This is 2 Dairy Queen gift cards that I just found.
Oh,
$15.
What?
Oh, it's
Nice.
just one gift card.
Fucking luck.
I'm going to quit flashing that around because someone's going to steal my numbers and steal my DQ Brazier gift card.
Brazier.
Anyway, Brazier. Okay,
Anyway.
other low-level crimes, check kiting and bookkeeping fraud. And so they commit these crimes from positions of less power compared to typically men who have engaged in acts of white-collar crimes. We will get to the different color collar crimes because there are way more than I fucking thought there were.
I think I've told this on the podcast before, but my mom is a bookkeeper. Obviously, she is also our bookkeeper
And a VHS repair person and
And
a pilot.
and a realtor and probably a
Exactly.
spy,
probably.
Definitely.
an international woman of mystery.
And she, for many, many years, she was a bookkeeper for a small graphic design company. And the bookkeeper who they had before my mom embezzled from them. And it was a woman and whatever. And she embezzled like $30,000, I think. Maybe it was more. I can't remember. And that bitch fucking used it to open a coffee shop. And we like got to spy on her when we were kids, and it was fun.
Yikes.
That's exciting.
Yeah. But
And
she just
terrible.
fucking stole money from this very small independent graphic design company, and then they ended up spending more money on
Yep.
lawyers and court and whatever to try to nail her than they ever got back.
We'll get to it, actually. Also, wasn't there an embezzlement thing? Somebody opened like a cat cafe and there was
in
like a bunch of
Minneapolis.
drama. They'd like boycott the cat cafe, which wasn't
don't
fair to
know
the cats.
What
but-
happened here, that something like that happened here. I don't know if that was an embezzlement thing. There were like a bunch of questions about how this individual was running their business, and that included how they were caring for the cats. And
Okay.
it got shut down pretty quick. I think it
Okay.
was a combination of factors, but I vaguely remember this drama as well.
Okay, got it. So can a man be a pink collar criminal? The simple answer is yes. It's the position, not the gender. But in these pink, quote unquote, pink positions, there are just more binary women than men. So it's not a problematic name. We're just boiling this down to binary bullshit. And this is just what we're dealing with here.
Okay.
According to the FBI, male embezzlers have increased only about 4% since 1990, while pink-collar criminals have increased over 40%
You go, girl.
in that time period.
Good for her.
It's like a pretty big issue.
It's
Wow.
a jump.
Yeah. In 2018, stick with me here. In 2018, the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners report to the Nations on Occupational Fraud and Abuse, or ACFRNOFA,
Kazoo tight.
found that men were responsible for stealing larger amounts of money, the median number of which was $156,000, compared with women, and their median theft was around $89,000. So
Well,
they're stealing
not in my
less.
case. My gal was an overachiever.
Love
Excellent.
that.
I think that's how they kind of got under the radar for quite a long time, because they steal smaller amounts over longer periods of time.
Yeah, we keep it modest. Skim a little off the top here, scam a little off the bottom there.
Don't go crazy.
Yeah.
A handful of embezzlement studies, though dated, have focused on female offenders and have confirmed trends that women tend to commit embezzlement at a higher rate, but they steal less money.
Yeah, we don't want to get caught.
We're
And I feel like there's like,
smarter.
well, and maybe there might be a little bit less like ego and showmanship
Absolutely
involved. Like, and again, this is completely painting with a wide
And
brush.
it's never okay.
Right. No,
No,
it's
of
never
course
okay.
not.
Using generalizations that are rooted in patriarchal ideas of femininity. But it could very well be a contributing factor that women in general are not going to like embezzle and then buy a Ferrari.
It might also just be different industries. Like, I feel like it's more common for women to work for nonprofits or government institutions, like local
Teaching,
government,
nurses
teaching.
and doctors. Yeah.
Yeah, or just like smaller, like small businesses, smaller enterprises. Whereas like a lot of, when you think of like a male embezzler, you think of like Wall Street.
Enron, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like Fortune 500,
Yeah,
whatever.
And it's also at those smaller businesses where a person, I mean, maybe we can sort of make assumptions because I don't have stats right in front of me, but say you have a small business And the person who handles your finances, the coming in money and the going out money, is usually one person.
Right.
So it's a lot easier.
There's not a team.
It's a lot more
to, like,
convenient
check.
to steal.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, your mom could be embezzling so much from us right now. We'd no idea.
never know.
We'd never know. She
Because
handles everything.
As a small business, we were like, we need a bookkeeper, an accountant to just handle
we don't
everything.
know how to do this.
I don't get it. I don't want to even look at it.
Yep.
And that's what
that's how it should be.
the person
that level
who-
of trust.
Yeah, and that's what the person who stole from that company did before my mom got there, because it was a creative business. The owners of the business were also the like lead creatives on all the projects.
They don't
were
have
busy.
time to
They
look
don't
at
have
it.
time to
P&L
exactly.
reports.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm not a bookkeeper, so
Right.
I don't want to keep my books.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I want a professional to fucking do it.
1,000%.
Yep. And you know what? Enjoy that vacation, Elizabeth. You earned it. If you want to
Honestly,
skim a little off the top,
You were a
what do
single
I
mom.
care?
You earned it.
Yep, you did good. Take it all. She does not
Also,
listen to this show. So.
Absolutely not. Speaking toward kind of the motivations, women also invoke different rationalizations for their actions compared to men. So women are more likely to cite like, oh, I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my kids. I have to send my kids to a good school, blah, blah, blah. Whereas men more frequently
want
are
a
like,
Ferrari.
I want the Ferrari.
Yeah, I'm having a midlife crisis. I'm a con artist.
This is a straight up ego thing.
yeah.
This is who I am now.
I need to pay for all my high class escorts.
I just want to be Frank Abagnale, played by Leo DiCaprio, and Catch Me If You Can.
Young
Who
Leo.
doesn't?
Young
Leo. He ages pretty well, though.
He's still got something, but
It's off.
he doesn't have
Something
it all.
It's the squinty eyes.
I
It's
wouldn't
the squinty
Something
little
is
eyes.
put his current face on a pillow.
Y'all.
I wouldn't currently put his 16-year-old face on a pillow either, though.
Something's just not right with that man anymore. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. It's like porn. I don't know how to describe it, but I know it when I see it. Something is not right.
Well, he only dates
12-year-old girls.
23-year-olds. So that might be turning you
Could
off.
be it. Could be it. That could be
I
it.
don't.
Okay.
I also learned today that Cuba Gooding Jr. was a problematic man.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
I mean, it's what it's.
Yeah. Any next.
never be a man, you guys.
Just be a banana.
Or a crab, apparently.
Are crabs bad?
You're closer to being a crab than a banana.
Oh my God.
New phobia. Okay.
Great.
So, quote, the glass ceiling as we know it today represents women making about 81 cents on the dollar compared to men. However, they steal, or when they steal, they only steal about 43 to 50 cents on the dollar.
So really,
So-
they're just making up for
the
lost
wage
wages.
gap.
It's a wage gap thing. Right. It's hard to know how much pink collar crime is actually committed annually because according to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners,
We don't get cat.
only about 15% of all embezzlement cases are reported to law enforcement.
Whoa.
So this goes to what Kenyon was saying earlier. Fraud costs about 5% of gross revenues worldwide, and many businesses experience losses that are too costly to investigate. These
Right.
businesses write off the amount and just fire the employee.
Yeah, they
So you
just
just
write it off as
a
like
loss.
bad debt. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
and then they're fired, and there's like no repercussions. They're free to do
Because-
it again wherever.
if
Wow.
you do the math, like this for my mom's, boss's example, they lost so much more money
Legal fees.
prosecuting this
Fighting it.
person than if they had just left it alone and written it off at the beginning. But they did it out of principle.
Well, right.
You know?
I would be compelled to do that.
Right.
It would be really hard for me to walk away.
But it took years. It took so much of their time and brain space, and they lost money.
During all of that, you're not actually working to make more of a profit. It's like a
Right.
double loss.
Opportunity cost of all that time
Ugh.
fucking sucks.
Don't embezzle from a small business. Stick to the
No.
big assholes
Yeah.
who aren't going to miss it.
Yeah. Embezzle from
You'll
the
probably
fucking
get away
Koch
with
brothers.
it longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on the other hand, it's easier to embezzle from small businesses for the reasons we just talked about.
True. But just don't do that.
So
It's
smaller.
not ethical.
It's
Ethical embezzlement only.
It's me. Embezzle from Sally Mae.
Yeah.
Yes. Please. Please, God.
And Navient.
Oh.
Tank them all.
Ish. So smaller businesses that are least able to afford a loss have the highest median loss of all size businesses, as noted in the ACFE's 2020 report to the nations. So, that just goes to show that
They're easier targets.
they're
Yep.
easier targets. It happens more frequently with small businesses. They are less likely to prosecute. It's just a terrible cycle and extremely destructive. So our fabulous fan picker, Allison, sent some background information also. So since Allison attended a lecture from a forensic accountant a few years ago, and they talked a lot about pink collar crimes, that's why Allison chose this subject. And that is also why they sent me some facts that I
Great.
loved.
That should be Elizabeth's next business venture.
She is
lecturer.
so good at research. She
No,
would
like
be-
as a forensic accountant.
She'd be
she'd
so good at
fucking
it.
crush it. She's so detail oriented. She'd
Yeah.
catch a million criminals.
1,000%.
She really would.
Her binder skills would really be useful here. I'm calling her after
She's
this recording.
so
This is
deeply
happening.
honest
Mm-hmm.
and so detail oriented and so good at like
thorough.
ADHD hyper focus research.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever she calls me with a money question, I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm so overwhelmed by all of your receipts.
I know. Just
Why?
cowboy, take me away.
Give me
We
72.
trust you.
Give me 72 hours to back up what you just told me in 25 seconds because I can't.
She's amazing.
Okay, so this is from Fanpicker Allison. Some of the flags that this lecturer said to look for if you suspect an employee embezzling are the following. Number one, they talk about going to the casino or other betting places frequently.
Yeah,
I do
you
not
gotta
want-
make your ruse.
I don't want my bookkeeper going to the casino, even casually.
That's not
Right.
a great combo. Oh, then I should cancel my Mystic Lake weekend with Momar next week.
I don't think she will. She might do a coin slot machine
Listen.
for like 4 minutes.
We're doing penny slots and we're seeing a show. We're gonna
Yeah.
play some video roulette.
not worried.
Gonna
Another
get a
is
nice
like-
spicy Coke.
Yeah, spicy cokes. I also couldn't be a bookkeeper because if I lived too close to a casino, I would just have a gambling addiction. I'm telling you right now, I
hate
love the
gambling.
casino so. Oh, I love it.
I hate it.
love it.
If
I don't like
I
it.
won at the pull tabs
People are
at one
smoking
time,
all the
I
time
feel
around
like
you.
I'm
It's
up.
the best.
I'm done. I don't need to ever go back.
I love everything about it. I'm definitely going to retire like on the Vegas Strip or just off.
Like my
I
godmother's
hope you never
mom
Yeah.
cookie.
anticipate my visiting you.
That's fine. I will keep the guest room nice and clean for when you never want to come out and visit.
Call it a guest room in case I come out unannounced. Yeah, I don't like gambling. Okay, so you presumably, speaking as the owner, know what you pay this person, and you should know if their salary could support like a gambling habit.
It does get tricky though if the person has like a spouse and like their spouse's job could or could not be highly remunerative.
Cover some of that
True.
up.
Yeah.
What word did you just say?
Remunerative.
The fuck is that? I've never heard
Every
that
once
before.
in a while I pull out a big word out of my ass. Remuneration.
I have no
To
idea.
be
Another
paid.
word I've never heard.
Paid. Basically to a highly paid job.
All right.
Okay.
Never heard of that.
Perennial.
I'm not doubting you. I just am
It never
Taken
is the
aback.
Wordle word.
obviously
That's way
not.
more than 5 letters. That's so many letters. Is that what you've been typing in? Is that why you missed the Wordle the other day?
I try to
I was
just
shocked that you
do
missed
all
the
my
Wordle the other
shots
day.
as
I also
one.
missed it.
I'm normally pretty good at it, and I just fucked it up the other day.
I missed
I'm on a
that
streak
one
of
too.
fucking threes, y'all. I
Yeah,
am
good for
riding
you.
high. You got to start with irate.
That's a good one.
It's a really good starter word. Okay.
Yeast is really good.
Yeast
I
is my
start-
favorite.
I start with yeast, irate, or smart.
I also like spank and slit.
Moist.
Wait, no, slits.
Terrible word, but a good starter.
Don't start with slits. That's
I don't
two
start
S's.
with slits, but I like it.
Oh, who doesn't?
Worst would be good. Is that the right number of letters? Yeah.
Yep.
Worst,
Corey
W-U-R-S-T?
starts with cream and then
Ish.
penis.
Okay. Every day?
He says he does, but I don't know.
Okay.
That's a stupid fucking 2 words to start with. Okay. Sign number 2 that you have a pink collar criminal in your midst is if
You just might be an embezzler.
if they develop a horse habit.
Oh my God.
Like going to the horse track?
Nope. This lecturer said that women embezzlers tend to buy horses
Horse
to
girls.
to get into the showing horses, owning horses world. And then
We will get to it.
when they
Oh.
start stealing or other similarly expensive niche interests,
What?
again, the owner should know if the employee's salary could afford such activities.
We'll get to the horses.
horse
Listen,
habit.
never trust a horse girl.
Nope. No. Horses
Love
are
it.
fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Ugh.
They're muddy pits.
Another thing to note is the person always there? Do they never take a vacation? Do they come in even when they're sick and or injured? It's not because they're a dedicated employee. It's because they have to be there to protect their house of cards.
Yeah, they can't let anybody else step in and then
Okay.
notice shit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
lecturer mentioned how she knew of a woman who got caught after years because she started missing work for cancer treatment appointments, and another employee covering for her discovered that there was money missing and followed those.
Awkward.
That's
trails.
reason enough to never become an embezzler. Imagine never being able to take a day off or
Oh.
a vacation.
Lot
I
of
would
pressure. Lot of
Immediately
pressure.
fail.
Mhm.
Immediately I'd fail.
Another thing to
Bye-bye.
note, is the suspected person always hiring and firing assistants, front desk or receptionist people, or others in their departments? It's
Can't find good help.
It's because they're worried those other employees are getting too close to discovering they're stealing, so they have to get rid of them.
Or maybe they hire real dummies on purpose. And you're like,
Yeah.
why did you choose this person? And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, they're a useful idiot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this last part is also a quote from Allison's email. I couldn't find anything to back this up, but I thought it was really interesting, so I'm going to include it anyway. The lecturer also said that dentists' offices are the #1 business that get embezzled from.
Oh.
Whoa.
They say, I can't remember the exact percentage, but it was crazy high, like 70% of all dentists have experienced it. And the
Whoa.
lecturer said it was because there was such a divide between like the so-called back of house where the dentists focused on patients and the front of house with the people who handled billing and appointments and insurance and stuff. And she said there were so many factors between insurance, equipment, service costs, etc., that it was easy for money to just fall through the cracks.
Or they could just
Disappear.
like overbill patients and the dentist would never know.
And like, how many of us are looking through like our EOBs and then like, okay, this lines up to be that exact charge that I was quoted.
Oh, and
this lines
insurance
up to
in
be
between?
how much
Right.
the insurance covers. And
Please. Like,
Yeah.
it makes no
it
fucking
makes no sense.
I'm constantly getting bills from
Mm-hmm.
from doctors' offices or insurance. Like,
Stuff that you think is covered.
yeah, exact. Or it's just a mess.
Oh my God.
Fucking
When we
hate this
we
system.
switched our insurance, what, about 6 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
I had the audacity to go to the same dentist that I've been going to for 10 years.
Out of network.
Happened to be the appointment where I had to get the x-rays taken.
Oh, no.
Just so happened to be out of fucking network.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to pay $270 just out of pocket for my
and the
like
doctor's
6
office can
months.
never tell you that.
Nope,
No, they
never.
don't fucking know.
They don't
There's
know.
so many different insurances. Like, they don't fucking know.
It's such fucking bullshit. I hate
It's
it.
all the worst.
Yep.
Everything is dust.
Yep. Okay, so just to kind of close us out, like I mentioned earlier, there are actually all sorts of different colors of collar crimes. So this is from a website ironically called somethingabout.orange.com. Lots of colors all of a sudden. So, as we know, white collar crime refers to financially motivated, nonviolent crimes often committed by businessmen and government officials. The term white collar is in reference to those who wear a suit and white collared shirt to work, White-collar crimes include criminal activities such as money laundering, corporate fraud, mortgage fraud, bribery, aka extortion, embezzlement, mass marketing fraud, and fraud against the government. So that's
And I would argue
white-collar
politicians trading single stocks.
1,000%. Yeah. Well, wouldn't that be like a what's it called? There's another word
Insider
for that.
trading.
Yeah,
We'll
insider
get
trading.
to insider trading.
Oh, good. Well, yeah. Insider trading is a white-collar crime, I would say. Okay. Then we have blue-collar crimes, which are considered to be any crime committed by someone from the so-called working class or lower class of society. These crimes tend to be fueled by passion, lust, or rage in opposition to white-collar crimes, which tend to involve extensive planning and are meticulously calculated. So examples of blue-collar crimes include burglary, drug crimes, assault, sexual assault, and theft. Since blue-collar crimes often cause immediate and highly visible injury to society, they tend to be punished more severely than other forms of collared crimes.
This is very classist in a lot of ways. Like intentionally so, but like
Very
Yeah.
classist, yeah.
yeah.
The rest of them aren't, I promise. A seemingly more recent form of crime, some consider green collar crimes.
I was going to ask if there's green collar.
There's green. So these are a subsect of white collar crimes. Green collar crimes are defined as crimes committed against the environment for profit. So like, big oil shenanigans.
Aaron
and things like that.
Brockovich.
Aaron Brockovich.
Fucking pipelines and shit.
Yup. The term red-collared crimes has been used to
Blood?
describe white-collar crimes that turn horribly violent.
Oh, like if they're like gonna get caught, and so then
They
like,
commit a murder.
Exactly. After their
Dang.
white-collar crimes have been discovered, red-collar criminals use murder as a method of concealment, also called fraud, concealment, homicide.
a lot of
Thus-
family annihilators.
Yes, thus changing the white-collar crime to a red-collar crime. The red-collar criminal usually has a mixed criminal history of white-collar and non-white-collar crimes that often includes a history of violence. And last but not least, though not officially confirmed in criminology studies, the term black-collar crime has been used to refer to priests who commit crimes.
Oh.
Oftentimes, these crimes are subsequently covered up by the church.
You don't
Shocker.
say.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So just a little bit of background about pink collar crimes.
Love it.
Honestly, the horse habit was my favorite little
Oh,
fun
we will
fact.
get to the horses.
I'm
I think
so
so
she's-
excited.
I love that apparently that is a trend.
Yeah, like a thing.
Because I know who fucking started it or who embodied it the most, and we will get to
Hell
it right
fucking-
after this break. Rita Crundwell,
No.
beautiful name, was born in 1953 to Ray and Caroline Humphrey.
Hey.
Her family lived
Hey.
Her family lived on a farm near Dixon, Illinois, where Rita developed her lifelong love of horses.
Love it.
Hearses.
Hearses.
Hearses. Same girl.
Herses. Herstory.
Herstory.
Herstory. Oh my God.
You could write a book, a coffee table book about the history of hearses and call it Herstory.
Herstory.
Hashtag
Okay, well,
trademark.
Writing
I
it down.
love that.
Writing it.
Please do that.
Herstory. Okay.
Herstory.
Okay. So Rita, she was well liked by both her classmates and teachers. She did well in school. She had friends. She was, just like a totally normal kid.
Unassuming.
Yep. And in 1970, during her senior year of high school, she began working at Dixon City Hall as a work study student, which would be the beginning of a very long involvement in municipal government work.
Oh,
She
how
literally
riveting.
started as like an intern, basically, a high school intern.
Cool.
After high school, she took a job as secretary for Dixon's mayor.
Oh, wow.
While working at this job, Rita met and married an engineering technician named Jerry L. Crundwell. I mean,
Terrible last name.
how could you resist?
Of the of the Dixon Crundwell.
Yes.
That Jerry just gets me real hot in the panties. You know what I mean?
Okay, ma'am.
Just writing in her notebook, Mrs. Jerry L. Crundwell.
Crundwell with little hearts. Ish.
The pair would divorce in 1986, but Rita would continue using her married name.
Good.
Probably much to his chagrin. In 1980,
It's like in The Office when Kathy Bates is on as, what's her name?
State senator.
Shit. Sorry. What the fuck
Yeah,
is
Joe.
her name? Joe,
Yeah.
yes. And she takes over Dunder Mifflin and she's introducing herself as Mrs. So-and-so. And they're like, oh, where's Mr. So-and-so? And she's like, oh, we're divorced. Dropped the name, kept the Mrs. So she went back to her maiden name, but kept Mrs. just to piss everybody off. Like, dropped the name, kept the Mrs. It's like, okay, I kind of like that.
Whatever floats your boat, Joel.
Yeah.
so in 1983, Rita Crundwell was appointed the treasurer and comptroller for the city of Dixon. I don't think she ever went to college. I think she just worked in municipal government and worked her way up.
What
I mean,
is
whatever.
a comptroller?
Nobody knows what a comptroller is.
I'm
so
so
fuck
glad
it.
you asked.
Oh, God.
According to Bloomberg.com, because I also wasn't sure.
Nobody knows.
Glad we're on the same page.
According to Bloomberg.com, quote, the comptroller is like the city's accountant. He or she certifies city budgets, approves city contracts, audits city agencies, and, this is a biggie, invests the municipal pension funds.
Then what
Don't
the fuck
like
does a treasurer do?
That.
Well, she was both, so I think it was one role, basically.
Oh, okay.
Maybe in a bigger city, there's a treasurer and the comptroller does more of the auditing of the treasurer.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know. So Rita quickly acquired a reputation as being extremely good at her job. One of the Dixon City commissioners once praised her by saying, quote, she looks after every tax dollar as if it were her own.
Funny. Almost like she felt the same way.
Oh.
That was the line that made me cover this case.
Words that don't age super well.
Yeah, that tweet did not age well.
A statement that would turn out to contain unexpected sweet, sweet irony.
Oh, no.
Because unbeknownst to her colleagues, on December 8th, 1990, Rita Crundwell opened a secret bank account called the Reserve Sewer Capital Development Account, or RSCDA.
It sounds gross.
Who's going to look in the sewer?
Yeah.
Go, Crundy, go.
Mhm, there's money in the banana stand.
There's always money in the banana stand.
She literally created it to sound both
Boring.
And gross.
gross and necessary.
Yeah, it's city poop money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you going to argue with city poop money?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to cut that.
You're
Right.
not going to dive into it.
No, no, yeah, no one's gonna plunge down into that too deep.
So it was meant to appear to be an official city account, but Rita was the only signatory.
Good girl.
Curious.
Brilliant.
The way Rita's scheme worked was she would have tax dollars deposited into another account called the Capital Development Fund, which is real, like the real fund.
Oh, I was like, oh, also sounds boring.
Say no more. Seriously, say no
Staying
more.
away from that one, too.
And then create false invoices and write checks from the CDF fund made out to treasurer of the other fund. And it just looked like, okay, the sewer whatever is a city expense and
Yeah,
we
we're
just
paying
pay
it. Mm-hmm.
These checks to treasurer would then be deposited into the reserve sewer blah, blah, blah account, which only Rita had access to / even knew existed.
Great.
An elegantly simple fraud, but still, someone would be bound to pick up on these large expenses in the city budget. right?
Oh.
Right?
Not me.
Someone
Wrong.
would sniff
No.
these sewage dumps.
Fucking nose goes.
Rita would continue to successfully perpetrate this scheme for 22 years.
You go, girl. Go, Crummy.
Rita.
Crumby, whatever your name is. You go.
And then I feel like at that point, if somebody's auditing, they're just like, yeah, this is a regular expense that's
Yep, it's
existed
recurring.
for 22 years.
Yep. She don't fuck with it too much.
Yeah, 'cause
Don't raise
isn't
it
the
really
limit-
suddenly.
I mean, I think it differs. It might differ state to state, or at least like size of company.
Mhm.
But I think it's 7 years. You don't have to keep records like that. Or for restaurants, it's 9 years. You have to keep a physical receipt.
Mhm.
I have no idea. They were able to track it back 22 years, so they
That
had
is
some kind of.
fucking wild.
Damn.
On average, Crundwell embezzled about $2.5 million per year from the city of Dixon, although the amount she took became more and more brazen as the years went on. So she did escalate, and it
Crundy.
started much smaller than that.
Stop calling her.
But that's
Grundy.
what
I'll
the
never
average-
stop calling her Crundy. That is so much money.
From a small
Yeah.
town.
Every year.
Hmm. For 22 years.
At a certain point, you can't even hide that.
Well, in
Well, for
1990
22 years, you can, I guess.
she got greedy. If she hadn't gotten greedy, she'd still be going.
Well, she had to get her horses.
Yep. We'll get
Oh,
to
the
it.
horses.
Yes.
In 1991, for example, the first full year that the reserve sewer blah, blah, blah account existed, she stole only $181,000.
Oh, good for her. Okay.
That was her starter amount.
That is
Yeah.
such an obscene amount of money.
It's a ton
Just
of money.
call it
so much
only.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It
I-
That's way more than my
on top
house
of her
cost.
salary,
God.
which I don't know what her salary was in 91, but later on her salary was like $80,000.
Yeah, so she's not destitute to begin
Probably
with.
way over her salary.
Oh, yeah, it's more than double her salary, but then she's also taking home her salary. Like,
Yeah, so
Right.
she's getting both.
yeah.
Wow.
She used this money to purchase a Sun Cruiser pontoon boat
Oh, good for her.
and $3,000 worth of diamonds.
That's the kind that we rented on Sailorville Lake for our
Mhm.
get together.
A pontoon is a girl's best friend.
Well, a Sun Cruiser
seriously great.
pontoon.
Love.
I mean, I would love a Sun Cruiser pontoon.
Uh-huh.
Or a
Ooh, what-
barge, as my city dweller husband calls them.
A barge.
Yeah, he didn't know what a pontoon
He does, he
was.
didn't know. He
Or a
still-
cul-de-sac.
Yeah, he's like, for cul-de-sac, he was like, you mean a dead end?
No, honey. No. It's a circle. It's a circle.
A barge.
He calls all
Honey.
pontoons
Such a city
barges.
kid. I love it. What
Yeah.
a cutie.
I'm
So-
sure there are terms that I don't know. He
And
knows.
he'll only say stoop sale. He refuses to call anything
A
a,
yard
garage
sale?
sale or a yard
Stoop
sale.
sale? We don't have stoops.
Everything's a stoop sale.
What are you, stoop?
Okay. So in 1992, she took less money than the previous year, siphoning off just $121,000, which more than
Pennies.
How
More
could
than-
she afford her lifestyle?
well, more than 2/3 of that was just used to pay off her credit card. So she would basically like just spend and then be like, how much do I need to embezzle to cover what I've spent?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Ballsy. This bitch is ballsy.
But the turning point for Rita seemed to be the year 1999.
It was my turning point, honestly, also. So
That year, she moved more than $1 million in city funds into the reserve sewer blah, blah, blah account, 125,000 of which she used to fulfill her lifelong horse girl dreams
Ooh.
and
Here we go.
purchase a quarter horse.
Okay, here we go.
is it like
This
a
is
quarter of a horse?
So a quarter horse is a type of horse that
You
does
picture
like,
you purchase a quarter of a beef.
It's
of
just
a
two
cow.
of the legs. It's just two of the legs.
It's just
It's a timeshare.
It's a living horse with all
Quarter
its
horse.
constituent parts, and
Oh, it's a
like
type. It's a type.
it's like what you picture for equestrian events.
It is either an English stock horse. Wait. It's a English stock horse crossed with a Chickasaw horse.
There you go.
Well,
So-
yes, I'm picturing a quarter of beef, a quarter of
Unless
horse.
you're picturing a Clydesdale, it looks like a horse.
It looks like
Of
Spirit
course.
Stallion of the Cimarron.
Yeah. And the numbers went up from there, from 1 million. In 2008 alone, she embezzled $5.8 million.
Oh my God.
A remarkable amount of money to have gone unnoticed, considering that Dixon's total annual budget is only $8 or $9 million.
Ooh.
How the fuck did nobody
how did
notice
that
this?
go
She
unchecked?
stole 2/3 of the city's annual budget in 1 year.
Dang.
Jesus Christ.
That's wild.
More than that.
It is also remarkable that Rita managed to avoid suspicion for so long, considering that she was living a lifestyle well beyond the means of her $80,000 salary,
Which
which
is
like
not a meager salary.
not a meager salary. That is a very high upper middle class salary.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
She used her ill-gotten gains to buy and show quarter horses and became known as one of the leading American quarter horse breeders, producing 52 world champions
Dang.
in exhibitions run by the American Quarter Horse Association.
Wow. All that for a quarter of a horse? Wow.
Imagine what a full horse could do.
She also purchased numerous cars, 3 houses, and a $1 million motorhome for like traveling to all these events.
Just buy a home.
Well, she had
Well, no,
three.
she had to be mobile.
A
It was for,
million
it's for carting her fucking horses around to all these competitions.
That's
And
nuts. When do
What
you
does
have
that
time to
even
work
look like?
when
Yeah.
you're this deep in the horse trade?
Well, she had to
Horse
keep.
quartering.
She had to keep. I'm sure she didn't want to, but she had to keep working to
Right.
to
Cover it
steal
up.
the money
And
to
yeah,
pay
cover
for
it
the
up.
lifestyle.
Oh my God, I just Googled $1 million RVs. They are,
Are they nuts?
fucking
There's
bonkers.
there's a photo on the drive of the interior of her
Of her
motorhome.
actual RV?
Thank
Yep.
God.
It's a lot of brown leather and like shiny wood. It looks like a boat.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's
Oh.
the inside of the RV?
Yeah.
Yikes.
With the okay, I was looking at the
It's
fireplace
basically
photo.
like
I
a
was like,
fancy-
that's
You're
nuts.
looking at the wrong one.
I was. Okay,
It's like
but
a
this is
fancy ass
fans.
tour bus.
Yeah, that's real fans.
That she could then pull a
her horse
wagon
trailer. Yeah,
of- yeah,
a wagon.
trailer.
A trailer.
Thank you.
Honestly, the cheetah print throw pillow on your hideous leather sofa is
Big
really
fan.
just hitting
Big
it off for me.
fan.
So there seems to have been some sort of unspoken assumption in Dixon that Rita had either inherited wealth at some point or that her horse breeding business was profitable in its own right. And that's where all her horse money was coming from, that it was, you know, because she was winning these competitions and breeding and selling horses.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, the horse business was massively expensive and usually hemorrhaging money because she was just buying pretty horses and like didn't need it to be profitable.
God, girl.
Yeah.
Lock it up, Crumby.
I can't believe that the horse habit tidbit just fed into this
Perfectly
so
applied.
fucking well.
Yep.
Holy shit.
So over the years, people in city government did begin to notice that Dixon often did not have the money it needed to cover everything in its budget. But Rita managed to sell the story that these budget shortfalls were due to the state being late in paying its share of the tax revenue. So she'd be like, yeah, they just
Interesting.
haven't
Paid up yet?
paid up yet, so we got a budget shortfall again. And she'd just been in the job for so long.
They had no reason not to believe her.
Yeah.
The city's functioning
Yeah,
so far, you know,
Yeah.
thus
As-
far.
As a result of these budget shortfalls, aka Rita's embezzlement,
Yeah, I could hear the quotation marks in the way you said that. Budget,
shortfalls.
shortfalls.
drastic cuts were made to city services, most notably to road maintenance,
Oh.
and close to no road maintenance was completed during Rita's 2-decade-plus tenure.
Wow. Who needs roads? We got horses for that.
What state is this in again?
Dixon, Illinois.
Oh, okay. Midwest.
In
Winters.
Illinois, you need to keep up with road maintenance.
You need to
Yep.
keep up with road maintenance everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere is affected by weather.
But
Right.
like
Some
what-
places
but-
more than others, but yeah.
Yeah,
With
the
harsh
rain
winters?
and the snow and the
Mhm.
ice and the cheap fucking concrete that they use to make those roads in the first place.
I mean, people will literally die as a result
Imagine
of...
how many fucking axles.
I was
got
just gonna
jacked.
say
Yep.
cracked axles galore.
Crack an axe.
So then, in the fall of 2011, things finally fell apart
Thank
for
God.
Crundy.
Crundy.
She decided to take an extended vacation. She got comfortable. And while she was away, a woman named Kathy Swanson filled in as acting comptroller.
Uh-oh. She handed over the comptrols to someone else.
Also,
Never
I
a
don't
good
know.
idea.
This is not a typo. So I'm assuming the pronunciation is Kathy, but it's Kathe.
Calf,
Could be Kath, Kath,
Okay.
cafe.
Kay Swanson.
I like cafe.
Okay.
Who's to
McCafe.
say?
So it wasn't long
Make
into
a
this role that Swanson discovered the reserve sewer blah, blah, blah account,
Mhm.
which had 179 deposits made into it.
Like that year or over
don't
the
know.
course of its life?
I think
okay.
over the course of time.
Okay.
Not recognizing the account and finding the amount of activity associated with it suspicious, Swanson contacted the mayor of Dixon, James Burke. Burke and Swanson then went to the FBI and agreed to allow Rita to return to work and remain silent as FBI agents built their case against her over the span of many months.
Wait, so she's still getting paid and working for the city while they're investigating her?
Because they had to gather evidence. They didn't
Catch her
want
in the act.
They didn't want her to
Oh, so
Close
she's not
the
remaining
account.
silent. They are remaining
Both.
silent while they try to build evidence against her.
Everyone is remaining
Okay.
silent.
because
Got it.
Rita can't know that they're onto her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they let her come back. This would be the hardest thing ever. You know that she's embezzling and has been for decades, and you
And
have
you just
to
gotta let her keep
act
doing it.
normal.
Oh, I
Yeah.
would love it. I'd be really good at that.
Oh my God, you're
Just
sick.
watching.
You're sick. Oh, I would love it.
I'd be really bad at it, but
Yeah.
really excited about
I'd be
it.
really nice to her.
Yeah,
and
I'd
try
all
to
of a sudden make a new
ingratiate
friend.
myself.
You'd be
Yeah.
too nice, and she would catch on.
Want to go
We'd
to
give it away.
lunch?
We should get lunch.
Good. Rita, tell me about your horses.
So what's new with you? Tell me everything.
Do you give riding lessons?
Everything.
Okay.
I'd love to come see your horses sometime.
I love your motorhome.
Where did you get it?
How much was it? How'd you pay? Cash?
Do you just think about sewers sometimes?
The weirdest thing, right?
If you had $1 million, how would you spend it?
I went to Paris and I took a tour of the old sewers.
I had the craziest dream that you made a fake account for the city.
How
Okay.
crazy is that, though?
Isn't
like,
that
how
wild?
crazy? Scale of 1 to 10, how crazy is that?
All right. On April 17th, 2012, Rita arrived at work, just like a normal day, to find FBI agents waiting for her. She was arrested and charged.
And me doing this in the corner.
and calf, just like.
Making a lot of extra trips to the water cooler that day. I'm so parched. I don't know.
I have no idea what
I'm
Kath
moving
or
the water
Kathy
cooler
Swanson
next
looks
to her
like, but I
office.
am picturing my mother and
Oh,
how she would have worn her best scarf
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she would have worn her
for
best
the
scarf.
FBI. Oh my god. So Rita was arrested and charged with embezzling $30 million over
$30 million?
Just wait. Over the previous 6 years.
Oh, only 6.
Wait.
I'm not done. At this point, it was all they had definitive proof of, and it was more than enough to charge her. So they didn't take the time to go back through the 22 years before they arrested her. They were like, we've got enough to charge her. Let's get her.
It's the limitations on the audits. I don't think they have to keep records past a certain. She probably shredded that shit as soon as she was allowed.
It's harder to get. It'll take more time. And they were like, let's just get her in custody.
Enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was charged with 1 count of wire fraud and released on $4,500 bail.
Easy to pay with that sewer money.
Yeah. Was she allowed to pay
the
with her
Reserve
own?
Sewer Capital Development account.
All I got to do is sell half of my quarter horse and a 16th of my horse.
But upon being arrested for something like this, would they not like freeze your fucking accounts?
They must. So she would probably have to get $4,500 from someone else to bail her out. But like that
probably wasn't Keith.
That's not a lot of money.
For bail, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
No, it's really not.
For a crime like this.
Yeah, for a $30 million
embezzlement crime.
embezzlement
if you had
crime.
like some marijuana on you, that'd be an absurd bail. But
yes, anyway. in the context of this situation, that is nothing.
Right. So then on May 2nd, 2012, after the FBI had completed building its case, a superseding indictment charged Rita with embezzling a total of $53 million
Ma'am.
from the city of Dixon over the course of 22 years.
Ma'am.
If you were a taxpayer,
It would later be discovered that her embezzlement had actually started a full 2 years earlier than the creation of the Reserve Sewer Capital Development account, when she had siphoned $25,000 out of the Dixon Sister City program.
Oh, the Lutheran Sisterhood Gun Club of Dixon.
I helped
Sister City.
I helped a city start a Sister City program once.
Yeah, who's the Chanhassen sisters? There's some like
I don't know.
Like we had some, or like Shangtan was a sister city to somewhere that we lived or something like that.
Yeah, there are like weird connections all over the place. I helped
Sister city.
a city in China become a sister city with, I don't even fucking remember now. But I was just trying to survive, you know?
I like the sister city thing. It's cute.
It's cute. So, yeah, that's where she first pulled money. And then she was like, I got to make this more sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it was the largest case of municipal fraud in U.S. history. Herstory.
Yeah, that's nuts. Good for her.
History.
According
like my
to
upcoming book.
According to court records, Rita stole an average of more than $37,000 for every single day she worked for the city of Dixon.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
Like, that's an annual income.
Every day.
That's a pretty solid annual income.
That's like a middle class income.
Every day?
Every day. When you break it down like that, this is so absurd.
Yeah, when you hear 53, like we get kind of inured to like
those big numbers.
Yeah. But yeah. $37,000 per day.
Wow.
In November of 2012, Rita Crundwell pleaded guilty to a single count of wire fraud. As part of her plea deal, she also admitted to money laundering in the form of using stolen city funds to finance her quarter horse operation.
One quarter of her horse.
Quarter horse operation.
I can't. Her horse ring.
She was required to forfeit $53 million in cash, assets, and possessions, including 300 horses.
She had 300 horses?
Where do you keep 300 horses?
I'm feeling a lot better about getting a second rabbit now. I'm not this bad.
You have two.
Yeah, you already have
I know. That's what I'm saying. I felt like about getting the second rabbit.
Okay.
Don't get a third.
I'm not going to get a third, but it'll never be as bad as 100 or 300 horses.
300 horses.
Go to the drive and look at some of these photos of her house, and you see all the fucking trophies.
That's no.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So she didn't like own and keep and pet and love and name all of these horses. She just basically
you couldn't. You
she
literally
basically paid for their
care in other
showmanship.
places.
Well,
yeah.
it became a much bigger operation. She had a bunch of employees and stuff. I'm sure all of whom lost their jobs when she was caught. You know,
The
whatever
picture
whole
of
thing
her-
got shut down.
Which I have to imagine this is probably her going in and out of the courtroom. But the picture of her in like the beige trench coat in front of the brick wall, that is a woman in over her head with horses. If I've ever seen one, that is that is the scene in fucking Bridesmaids where it's like I took too many dogs.
I took 9. I
took 9.
I bit off more than I could chew.
Yep, way more than I.
9
I took 300.
golden
I
retrievers.
took 300 horses. This is,
Yeah.
I am. This is out of my depth.
If you also scroll, you'll see a picture of all of the trophies that were seized from her home and put in storage.
Ew, they're all made out of like pewter.
Hate it.
None of them are small.
Oh.
Yeah, there's just a storage unit of worthless horse trophies.
Can you imagine, having to do the fucking inventory of that storage unit of horse trophies? Like,
Some intern had to
Yeah.
estimate what the value would be if you like melted them down.
This reminds me of all of those, what are the like the stone soldiers in China?
Yeah.
What are they called? The Xi'an?
Xi'an. Yeah,
Yeah. That's what this reminds me
it
of.
does.
Just
Okay.
just shoved into some basement.
Crundy.
Just to be melted down, smelted down.
So
Smelt.
thank God, like a lot of the horses were able to be sold and like still retain value. It's not like some people who have like monogrammed solid gold toilet seats.
Beanie
and you're
Babies.
just like, what? We're not gonna make money from this.
This is not valuable to anybody but
I
you.
am holding out on this Beanie Baby investment. It's a long game, people. Be patient.
So, in response to the discovery of Crundwell's long-running fraud, the city of Dixon sued its outside auditors. It's like, you didn't catch this, guys?
Yeah. 22 years of this.
As well as the city's bank, Fifth Third Bank, which is the
Why?
worst name for a
Quarter
bank.
Why?
horses, fifth third bank.
Fifth third.
Fifth
Third
fifth third.
It's a big bank.
Wet
There are a
turd
bunch
bank.
of them around here, and I refuse.
Fifth
Yeah.
third
Just
bank.
Fifth third.
on the name alone, it's
Thanks for
stupid.
coming to Fifth Third Bank.
Yeah, absolutely not.
That
No, no,
and
no, no.
River City Bank.
No.
River City Bank and Casino.
I would
hate
bank
it.
with River City Bank and
I
Casino.
just hate it so much. Okay.
Doesn't sound reliable.
Oh, we got trouble.
Just
Oh, we
find-
got trouble right here in River City.
We
Right
play
here
it
in River
fast and
City.
loose with your cash.
With a capital T that rhymes with third and that stands for bank. That
And if-
stands for bank.
If you don't like our percentages, you can just unmoor and
Make 'em
float
up.
down the river, find another city. River bank.
Yeah, I don't trust a bank that doesn't understand numbers to the degree of fifth, third.
Fifth third.
It's hard
Fifth.
to say.
Fifth
It's
third.
stupid.
It's real stupid.
I hate
I
it.
hate that. Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's the most egregious part of all of this.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
So Fifth Third Bank failed to detect numerous red flags surrounding Rita's tenure as treasurer and comptroller. The auditors and the bank ultimately agreed to pay the city $40 million to settle the suit. So they were the ones that paid for most of what she stole. Like they sold off her assets, but like they couldn't recoup $53 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know. Rita Crundwell was sentenced to 19 years and 7 months in prison. The judge in the case stated during sentencing that Rita had, quote, put her passion for raising horses ahead of the needs of the city residents who had entrusted her with their funds.
You don't say.
300 horses exceeds a passion.
Well, she didn't even get into it until after she started embezzling.
You could have stolen
It's
$2
just
million
not-
and started a successful horse business.
Right. It's
and
like this is
quit.
obviously not about the horses.
It's
It
super
turned into
not.
being about the horses because she was in way over her head and she had to sustain all of this.
The
But
horses
she's-
were a way to launder
launder
her
money. She started getting into the horses after she had already started pilfering this fucking money away from the
She was
stash.
already obsessed with horses. horses, and it just was what she like. Some people are into handbags or whatever or cars, and she was into horses. It was a lifestyle where she could show off wealth.
It's a lifestyle.
In her way.
I do like this photo of her like bedazzled blazer with her white cowboy hat.
Yeah.
She had bedazzled cowgirl boots.
Love.
There's a picture of her holding up a sign, "It's good to be the queen."
Ish.
She was one of those. She has got like a fur coat and another one of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there was a documentary made about her called, which I have not seen yet, but I really want to, called "All the Queen's Horses."
I'm
need to watch
looking
that.
this up ASAP. I'll Google where
Where
we
is
can
it
find
streaming? Thank you.
it.
So she was incarcerated at a minimum security correctional facility in Illinois and was originally scheduled to be first eligible for early release in March of 2030.
It's on
However-
Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Amazing. However, she was granted compassionate release in August of 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So
Due
she
to
is-
the pallor of her skin.
She's currently out. She's a white woman.
She's a white.
And she is considered to be serving her sentence under home confinement at her brother's 80-acre ranch near Dixon.
With her remaining horses that weren't seized by the government.
Yeah.
Probably.
God.
And this is land that actually she used to own, and her brother purchased it at auction after all of her assets were seized. So basically,
She just went home.
She just went home to a beautiful 80-acre ranch.
She's resting comfortably.
She's fine.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
There's no just imagine. I mean, I know that she's on house arrest, so like she has to be there, but like imagine having to stay in that town.
I
after
feel like
you
I'm
fucked
on
them
house
over.
arrest voluntarily. It's not that bad.
Well, right.
My
Oh,
life
it's a
is
With
house
public
arrest.
choice.
But public opinion of her, I think, is what Kenyon's saying.
Yeah.
Is like, that's awkward as hell. You're going to get your Starbucks, and it's like, oh, there's the bitch that embezzled $53 million from my
Thanks for all the
city.
potholes.
Yeah.
Crundy.
Yeah. Her choice to stay in that town was a choice.
It's probably not her choice. She probably had to go wherever she had
I think
access
she
to
has
this
to,
property.
I don't know how long her home confinement. I mean, her home confinement might have to be till 2030 or until they decide, like, okay, COVID-19 is quote unquote over and you
come
are
back
coming
to
back.
prison.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's possible or not. I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know.
I don't know. Wow.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm still not
horse
over
girl.
300 horses.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
How much
so
is
many
a quarter
fucking
house?
horses.
Average cost
Of a quarter horse.
American quarter. No, not wedding. Quarter
I bet it's
horse.
$2.5 million.
It's not cheap, I'm sure. Oh, okay. Between $5,000 and $7,000, but
Times.
elite horses can cost $50,000 to purchase.
Wow, I was way off.
I'm sure, like fucking race horses
Right.
are way more than that.
I mean, even if we go conservative and we assume she spent about 20 to 25 grand per horse,
That's
multiply
just
that
to-
by 300
right.
just to buy the horse.
and then you have to pay to keep them.
Yep. Boarding and feeding and all the care, everything.
All the employees.
Transpo,
The
horse
land.
transpo.
This says a well-trained stallion with good track records can cost around $100,000.
Fucking A.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
I mean,
well-
I feel like horses as I do about dogs. I'll look at them all day long. They're nice to look at. I don't want to have anything
care
to do
for
with them.
one.
I
I
like
love
horses. I would go
yeah.
horseback riding.
I love horseback riding.
Yeah.
But that's
But then,
just,
like 2 hours
I'll never make
max,
that kind of money.
Then
Yeah.
I want to go home and wash my
I never
hands.
want to own one.
No,
I'll
I never
never be
wanna own a
passionate
horse.
enough to own one. I want to
No.
be able to go on vacation.
Yep. And do like a beach ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with
Anyway,
you.
there you go.
Okay.
God bless.
That's
wow.
Rita.
Amazing. Well
Rita's
done.
a trip. Good job.
All right. Are you ready for my case?
Yes.
I
Doesn't involve
I'm
horses.
very excited.
I mean,
Hundreds
oh God,
of
hold on.
horses.
I've got to sneeze on deck. Oh,
Bless. Your headphones
almost knocked my headphones off. Ooh, that was strong. Okay. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was 2001.
Oh.
Yeah.
This was a tumultuous year. Attacks on the World Trade Center, the premieres of Shrek, Harry Potter, and Ocean's 11.
The
Wow.
deaths of 2 of my grandparents.
Oh,
Oh.
God. I'm so sorry.
They were uptown. It's fine.
Jay Leno was relevant. Rudy Giuliani was Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
He should have quit while he was ahead.
I know.
He literally visited our high school that year.
Yeah.
He did.
I don't think it was 2001 because it was like, for us, that was like 2004. But yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
2001, we were like freshmen.
Weak handshake.
Yeah.
Not great.
Aaliyah died in a plane crash.
Oh.
Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise broke up.
Oh.
Angelina Jolie open mouth kissed her own brother.
Oh, yeah. That was a weird time.
This was a weird year.
Britney Spears did the iconic Python dance.
Loved.
And our girl Martha Stewart got into some shady shit in the stock market.
That's when that happened?
Okay.
It started in 2001. She wasn't prosecuted until 2004.
Oh, okay.
So for those of you who are either too young to be listening to this podcast at all, or have been living in an M. Night Shyamalan's The Village style environment completely closed off from the outside world, Martha Stewart is an incredibly famous, like, influencer before influencers were a thing.
Yep.
She elevated herself to the gold standard of interior decorating, cooking, party planning,
Homemaking.
crafting, DIY, and like beachfront East Coast housewife fashion of the 90s.
Everyone was into it.
Mm-hmm.
Has her own magazine. She
yeah.
is the White Oprah.
She's an icon. She's written
Yeah.
a fuck ton of best-selling books. She launched Martha Stewart Living as both a magazine and a television show, and she was in basically every single middle to upper class home in America. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't go to the grocery store without seeing her face.
Martha Stewart Living still slaps.
Oh yeah, sure does.
It really does. Also, so the company that I used to work for, that I'm not going to name by name, but they bought Martha Stewart Living while I was working there. And one of the very first issues of Martha Stewart Living that was published had her as an angel on the cover. Like
in a costume?
Yes. She's
Wow.
like floating in like angel
That's a bit
wings.
much.
Yes. And this is like the same style as like Oprah's old magazine. Like she got to choose what the fucking cover looked
Oh yeah,
like.
she's on the cover of all of them. I love it. It's her
It's-
magazine. It should be her on the cover.
Embarrassing.
I don't think
I
she's on
love
the
it.
cover of every single one like Oprah
lot of them,
is,
though.
but she plenty.
If I started my own magazine, you better fucking believe I'd be on the cover of every single issue. Every single one.
That's too true. Yes.
Yeah, and so I'm adding that to my list of life goals. So, though her upbringing was modest, she was the second of 6 kids born to 2 teachers. Her father later went into pharmaceutical sales. She started babysitting at the age of 10 for literal New York Yankees players, including Yogi Berra and Mickey Mantle, which, yes, were the only names on the list I included because they were the only ones I recognized.
They're pretty fucking famous names.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah. By the time she was 15, she was booking some modeling gigs, some small commercial pieces for Unilever, which makes basically every soap and shampoo on planet Earth. And Terryton's, quote, smokers would rather fight than switch cigarette ads.
What?
And yes, I will play the jingle for you now. Also, go to the drive while you're listening to this, and there is a screenshot, a photo of Martha Stewart, and I don't ask any questions because I will explain it. You're gonna have questions when you see it. In this cigarette ad. That's her.
I have questions.
Promise I will answer your questions. Here's the jingle.
What gives Terryton the taste worth fighting for? Worth fighting for. The bright, inviting taste worth fighting for. Worth fighting for. Terryton's got a charcoal tip and it's got a white one too. Together they improve that great tobacco taste for you.
Us Terryton smokers would rather fight.
Then switch. Join the unswitchables of Terryton.
Fight what?
I will tell you.
Oh, okay.
And they have a charcoal filter.
And a white tip, too. So, yeah. She
that's
says,
the
quote,
black eye.
yeah, exactly. She said, quote, I did a Territon I'd rather fight than switch commercial, you know? This is in a 2004 interview with Larry King. And then I practiced smoking. I tried to smoke for a week. And when I finally made the commercial, all I had to do was hold the cigarette. So this is the most disturbing as fuck ad campaign. The models had black eye makeup to portray their willingness to be punched in the face rather than switch their cigarette brand.
I don't like anything about this.
The 60s were insane.
Wild.
Yeah.
That
It
was
was
a very
indeed the
popular
60s.
ad.
Oh my
wow.
God.
Is it?
I gotta say, she was a babe.
Oh yeah.
Babe. Still is.
Yeah, still is. She looks great. But yeah, that there's that like model photo of her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, she's a smoke show.
She learned how to cook and sew from her mother and learned how to can and preserve food from her grandparents. She developed her affinity for gardening from her father, who was very passionate about his garden. She enrolled at Barnard College of Columbia University, pursuing a degree in chemistry. But as her knowledge and love for art grew, she decided to switch majors and studied art, history, and architectural history. She actually,
And
Jill of all
waffle.
trades.
Yeah, she has,
she's
like-
really fucking smart.
she's really smart. She has either like her master's or at least her major in architectural history. She knows a lot of shit. She attended college on scholarships and also supplemented by the money from her part-time modeling and ad gigs. So like that cigarette money put her through college. She even landed a gig with Chanel. So she had some like
Real modeling.
pretty good gigs. They were paying like $50 an hour, which
Yeah,
this was
wow.
in the 60s.
That was like a semester's tuition.
and pretty much at like Cornell.
Right.
She was doing quite well.
A month's rent.
Yeah, pretty much. So
God.
through school and work, she was introduced to Andrew Stewart, a law student at Yale, and the two fell in love and got married in 1961. They eventually got divorced. I'm not focusing on her love life. She's had lots of fun dating, whatever.
What
I
was
heard her give
um,
an interview not that long, like a few years ago, where she was talking about her dating life and how hard it is because she just really, you know, she doesn't care
She's supposed to be
about.
left alone.
She doesn't care about like money or whatever, but they have to be on her level, and like she really would prefer someone with their own plane.
Yeah. That would be preferable. I also would really prefer that.
Yeah, can relate.
Like it's not about money. It's
Will
just,
he
you know, we have
share?
to be able to see eye to eye on private planes.
If this is really going to be a true partnership, I
Travel
can't be the
separately.
only one with my own plane.
Yeah.
What
You
was
need
her-
2 bathrooms to keep a marriage alive
And your own plane.
and 2 planes.
What was her maiden name?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I didn't.
I'm
include
just
it.
curious. I'm going to Google it.
I actually
she's Polish, so it's something fun.
I know somebody whose parents are John Stewart and
No.
Martha Stewart.
John and Martha Stewart.
Are you
That's
serious?
Really cute.
Oh
I
my
love that.
god. Her maiden name was Kostira. Kostira. Yes, Polish. Okay.
So when we think about Martha Stewart in a criminal sense, the first thing that comes to mind is insider trading, which is legit because she definitely did this. In 2001, Martha was trading shares in a company called I'm Clone, which is a terrifying name for a company. And I wish that, like, we, the three of us, had been consulted because we're clearly great at naming companies.
I'm clone.
I am CLONE, all one word. I'm Clone. I hate it.
So
According to
bad.
Wikipedia, I'm Clone was a biopharmaceutical company dedicated to developing biologic medicines in the area of oncology.
Which you would not get from the
I'm
name.
Clone. Yeah. It was founded in 1984 and had its corporate headquarters in Bridgewater, New Jersey, and its research headquarters in New York City. On October 6th, 2008, it accepted a $6.5 billion acquisition offer from Eli Lilly and Company and became a fully owned subsidiary of Eli Lilly and Company on November 24, 2008. Prior to the acquisition, it was traded on the NASDAQ stock exchange under the symbol IMCL, I'm Clone. I'm Clone lost its separate identity in 2014 when its former I'm Clone
When its
research.
clone fought back.
Yeah, when I'm Clones returned.
When Terrytown's clone fought back.
Pretty much. When its former I'm Clone research and manufacturing sites were renamed Eli Lilly and Company. And Eli Lilly is the Unilever of
Huge.
pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Like, they make fucking everything. My
Yep.
insulin is from them. I am powered by Eli Lilly.
I am cloned by Eli
I'm
Lilly.
Clone. So Martha wasn't making all of her own financial decisions, obviously, because rich people pay other rich people to give them, quote, advice on their investments, to like just turn their money into more money.
Right.
They make predictions. All of that is legal. Like, using public information to make stock predictions is totally fine. But when you start getting information that isn't public and making investments on or selling stock based on that information, that is insider trading.
That is the line for me that is like
Mm-hmm.
all of them
Yeah.
are doing
Doing it.
insider trading. It's
Yeah.
just
We covered
who's
this
getting
in
caught.
fucking whatever pandemic crimes. People fucking
Didn't we do
selling
an
or buying
insider
stock.
trading episode?
Well,
I
I
don't think so, but
talked
Kenyon
about
covered those senators.
Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, who's running again.
Mhm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
So in 2001, I'm Clone was working on this new experimental drug called Erbitux, which sounds like something for hemorrhoids. I can't.
Ew.
It sounds like a prom tuxedo made out of, but like it looks like a woolly suit.
Yeah. But what it actually is a monoclonal antibody treatment for advanced head and neck cancer of a specific type, specifically squamous cell carcinoma.
Mm-hmm.
Cute.
Super cute. At the time, this was new and still in its testing stages, but expected to be a big advancement in the treatment of cancer. However, this treatment was not approved by the Food and Drug Administration yet, and the company was awaiting clearance while they were in testing. It's fairly common for new treatments to be submitted to the FDA and not approved for several rounds. When this happens, stock typically falls, at least temporarily, as a result of the failed approval and having to go back to the drawing board and then resubmit.
It's a slow process.
Yep. One of the founders of I'm Clone got wind that the FDA was not going to approve Erbitux and did exactly what he is not supposed to do and advised his friends and family to sell their stock before the FDA made their rejection public. He was arrested for this.
Not legal.
So from harbert.auburn.edu, quote, investigations revealed that after learning the FDA would refuse to review Erbitux, Sam Waxel, the CEO of I'm Clone and a close friend of Martha Stewart, instructed his broker, Peter Bakanovich, who is also Stewart's broker, to transfer $4.9 million in stock to the account of his daughter, Eliza Waxel. His daughter also requested that Bakanovich sell $2.5 million of her own I'm Clone stock.
It's not when you're the CEO of the company and you start to do the insider trading, that's a little obvious.
Little on the nose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Run it
Sam-
through a couple other channels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what he tried to do through his daughter.
But that's
Well,
a
not
stupid
enough
move.
channels.
Not yeah.
Mm-hmm. Waxel then tried to sell the shares he had transferred to his daughter, but was blocked by brokerage firm Merrill Lynch. Phone records indicate that Bakanovich called Martha Stewart's office, this is her broker, on December 27th, shortly after Waxel's daughter dumped her shares. Stewart's stock was sold 10 minutes later.
Not
This was
good.
obviously sus.
Not good. Not
Martha,
good.
What a
Not
Go
good.
coincidence.
to a cocktail party, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make it look, I don't know. It's so dumb. Anyway, Martha repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, claiming that she had an agreement with her broker to sell the shares if they went below a certain price, and any information that Sam Waxel offered to Peter Bakanovich was unknown to her. However, Bakanovich's assistant testified that he had been explicitly instructed to tip Martha off.
Because they
So
were
again-
friends.
Yeah, because they're buddies. Again, from Harvard Auburn, quote, Douglas Faneuil, the broker's assistant who handled the sale of the I'm Clone stock for Stewart, told Merrill Lynch lawyers that his boss, Peter Bakanovich, had pressured him to lie about a stop-loss order. So the stop-loss order is sell anything that dips below XYZ. Although he initially backed Stewart's story, he later told prosecutors that Bakanovich prompted him to advise Stewart that the Waxel family members were dumping their stock and that she should consider doing the same. During interviews with law enforcement officials, Faniel said, quote, "I did not truthfully reveal everything I knew about the actions of my immediate supervisor and the true reason for the sales." He reportedly received money or other valuables for hiding his knowledge from investigators. So he lied at first because he was coerced into doing so to keep him quiet. Faniel pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge on October 2nd as part of all of these charges. This testimony of his was enough to file charges against Martha, so Martha was charged with securities fraud, obstruction of justice, and conspiracy in 2003 and went to trial in 2004.
I'm shocked that it was just this one case and she got her ass sent to prison.
Yeah.
Because some people, I feel like, do this all the time.
I mean, we'll kind of get to that, but also like making an example
You're right.
of
It was such
very
a high
famous
profile.
people.
Yeah.
Right.
is gonna play a role here.
I just feel like, and I know I just said this, but like rich people investing in their rich friends' businesses, like that is insider trading.
Mm-hmm, kind of.
It's also super normal and common.
I don't get it.
The
I just
area
don't
does get
it.
gray, but if you're making investments based on information that's not available to the public, and obviously like there are differences because like investing in startups or companies of friends before they're on like the public stock exchange, you're taking a risk. Like we're not publicly traded.
Well,
now,
yeah.
we don't have any investors, but like technically we could have investors and we're not publicly traded. And all of that would be based on whatever private pitch
We're just
we
telling
give.
people.
Yeah, we're just telling people. But then that comes with its own level of risk for the investor.
Right.
We've talked about how the stock market makes no sense and we don't get it. And it is what it is.
There are people who like just follow Nancy Pelosi's trades like in real time and just do exactly what she does because she like consistently beats the market.
There you go.
Ooh.
It's
I
not
mean, her
good.
trades are public knowledge, so
It's
can
not
make
good.
your
It
own
happens on
predictions
both
based on
sides of
that.
the aisle. It's fucking. I hate it.
it's all fucking trash.
Yeah.
So though we all assume Martha was convicted for insider trading, she actually wasn't convicted on that specific charge. Likely because it was a he said, she said situation, so this wasn't added to her criminal charges. But she did have to pay $195,000 to settle a civil case with the Securities and Exchange Commission. In her criminal case, she was found guilty of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and lying to federal investigators in March of 2004.
So it was the cover up that nailed her.
Yep. The securities fraud charge related to allegedly boosting the stock of her own company was dismissed. Here is a breakdown of the charges that she was found guilty of. So, conspiracy. Stewart was found to have conspired with her broker, Peter Bakanovich, to obstruct justice and make false statements in the I'm Clone insider trading investigation. Obstruction of justice. Stewart was found to have tried to hamper the SEC investigation of her stock sale by providing misleading information and attempting to tamper with a phone message from Bakanovich.
Oh.
So, like, deleted
a voicemail, basically.
Okay.
And then
go.
Peter flipped and she got nailed.
Yep. Lying to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the FBI, and federal prosecutors when she claimed she had prearranged with her broker to sell her I'm Clone stock when it fell below $60 per share.
And basically, she just couldn't prove that. And then Peter said that
Precisely.
that's not the case. And so
Yeah.
you got to get everything in writing.
She was also found to have lied about not recalling being told that the family of I'm Clone founder Samuel Waxel was selling stocks. She's like, I didn't know about that. The lying is also included in the obstruction of justice charge, specifically for this. Quote, Stewart and Bakanovich could not provide proof that a stop-loss order existed. Congressional investigators for the U.S. House of Representatives Energy and Commerce Committee could not find any credible record of such an order between Stewart and her broker. However, portions of the documents presented to the committee were unreadable because they were blacked out. So she redacted half of it.
Not suspicious at all.
Yeah. Stewart's lawyers later agreed to return to Capitol Hill with unedited documents. The committee did not call Martha Stewart to testify in front as her lawyers had made it clear that she would invoke her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I'm sorry, I'm drunk. Investigators who had been negotiating unsuccessfully with Stewart's lawyers to arrange for her voluntary testimony came to believe that Stewart had been stonewalling and would not cooperate. Many wondered if Miss Stewart had been straight about her story, then why would she like not tell it under oath? Why wouldn't she just testify?
Because you should always invoke the fifth. You should never testify in your own defense. It's never going to go well.
It's always a setup.
Yeah.
So the conviction resulted in
Unless you're a member of the Trump family, and then you really should
get
tell
up there.
your side of the story.
I want to know your side. It's
it's
only
your
fair.
chance. Think of
America needs to hear
to know.
it.
It's your
all
right.
the attention you'll get in the press.
And nobody can tell it as well as you can. So, like, don't let anyone twist your words. You should tell your own story.
What do those lawyers know anyway?
Yeah, they don't. You're the smartest one ever. You're the smartest
one in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sing your truth, honey.
Exactly.
Your
Speak
white
your truth.
Christian truth.
Live your truth. So the conviction resulted in a 5-month prison sentence, followed by 5 months of house arrest and 2 years of probation. I would love to be on house arrest in Martha Stewart's house.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It would be amazing.
To, like,
So many
scrabble her
crafts.
copper pans.
Yeah.
So much wassail.
Oh, yum. Stewart maintained she was innocent, but was confined to the minimum security Alderson Federal Prison Camp in West Virginia in October of 2004. I did so much Googling of like Martha Stewart prison photos and Martha Stewart mugshot. It has been scourged from the internet.
She has
They
paid
gone.
a lot of very smart people
To get rid of all of it. I would need to go on like the black market to fucking find these pictures.
Yeah.
If you can find them, tweet them to me, please. Quote, ironically, Martha Stewart could have sold her I'm Clone stock on December 31st after the FDA announcement instead of December 27th, 10 minutes after her tip-off, and collected $180,000 in profit without raising any concerns. That's only $48,000 less than what she gained through the earlier sale.
Yeah, you just wait for that. You
to be
know
public.
the announcement is coming, so the second it hits, you can sell.
Yeah.
Before other people hear the news, that's fine, as long as the news is available.
It's
but yeah,
not that
she
hard.
Slow your fucking roll.
She quote unquote saved $48,000, but then lost 5 months in prison, had to pay almost $200,000 to the SEC. Like, it's not, you didn't save anybody. You fucked yourself over. Although Stewart denied any wrongdoing, the scandal sliced more than 70% off the stock price of Omni Media, which is her company that manages like Martha Stewart Living, everything.
All her books,
Yeah.
her show.
And that's her publicly traded company. And according to one estimate, washed away more than a quarter of her net worth. Before the scandal, Stewart had an estimated net worth of $650 million. And it allegedly in that time washed away a quarter of that.
I feel like she must have bounced back.
Oh, we'll get to it.
Oh, the bitch bounced back.
She also had to step down as the director of Omni Media as a result of her charges, but she came back.
But she sold off all of her stock in Omni before it became public what her sentence would be.
I would. I'd be like, hey.
10 minutes before.
But you can't keep Martha down for long. In fact, her career has had a major resurgence in the last few years, and she has taken not only the scandal, but some family drama on the cheek and used it to create some new opportunities. Even if she actually hates it, whatever her PR team is having her do, it's brilliant.
I'm sorry. Her partnership with Snoop Dogg
We're
is
gonna get to it.
the best
It's the
marketing
best.
scheme of the 21st century.
It's not even a
Both of them.
scheme. They're like actually friends. We're about to dive into it all.
Whatever
So
it is, it's amazing.
It's working. She released, quote, The Martha Rules in 2005, right after her prison time. This book was an instruction manual on how to start your own business and hopefully stay out of jail in the process.
She basically just was like, I'm gonna have a sense of humor about this or pretend to consistently and just take it on the cheek and like
Rebrand myself.
yeah, fuck it.
It's great.
It's really great. She rejoined her company, Omni Media, formed an incredible partnership and friendship with Snoop Dogg when he appeared on The Martha Stewart Show in 2008, and they bonded over making mashed potatoes. From
Imagine
Insider.
being the like low-level producer who was like, I don't know, we got to fill this slot. I don't know.
Snoop
Get me
Dogg, I
Snoop
guess
Dogg.
he's in town.
And then they just changed celebrity
Forever, pretty much.
Celebridom.
From Insider.com, quote, they teamed up again for a Christmas episode in which they made green brownies. Stewart jokes with Snoop about why he wants green brownies, to which he replies that green is, quote, environmental. He also asks Stewart when they're adding, quote, the stuff, and she just says later to lots of laughs. They clearly hit it off from the start, but Martha expressed interest in getting to know him better on a Reddit AMA hosted in 2014. From there, their friendship took off on Twitter, much to the public's enjoyment, even sitting together on stage at the 2015 roast of Justin Bieber. They just ended up in the weirdest places together. The two teamed up in 2016 on TV's The $100,000 Pyramid. In 2016, they hosted Martha and Snoop's potluck dinner party on VH1. Martha wrote the foreword for Snoop's own cookbook in 2018 titled From Crook to Cook, Platinum Recipes from The Boss Dog's Kitchen. BRB while I buy this immediately. And in 2021, they put out Snoop and Martha's Very Tasty Halloween on Netflix. It's literally like just the gift that keeps on giving.
It's just accelerating.
It's so good.
Everyone is not over it. Yep. It is still amusing, and they're just capitalizing on it.
Well, and Snoop Dogg has even said in interviews that like this partnership with Martha Stewart also normalized in a lot of ways, like quote unquote rap lifestyle, and like introduced people who watch daytime television.
Yeah, a lot of moms were like
to a culture that they had
with their kids buying those CDs.
Right. That to a culture that they had absolutely no experience with. And
then
it opened up a lot of doors.
The Super Bowl halftime show.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, likely influenced by Snoop, Martha joined the board of Canopy Growth, a Canadian-based cannabis company, and does a lot of advertising for them. And despite her daughter Alexis making some not too kind claims about her in the tell-all book Whateverland, Learning to Live Here, which Kenyon has a copy of.
Didn't you get me that for
I did. Secret Santa
2 years ago?
Yeah.
I love it.
Sure did. Wherein Alexis claimed that, quote, if I didn't do something perfectly, I had to do it again. I grew up with a glue gun pointed at my head, end quote.
Oh my God.
It's so fucking dramatic. She also wrote these. I'm just ending this with some incredible quotes from this fucking book, which when you're done reading it, now I want to read it because I feel like it might be like.
Pass it around. I want to read it too.
These quotes make it sound like a very privileged person complaining, but I mean, I'm sure it wasn't perfect.
An incredibly type A perfectionist
mother.
Duh.
Who was also a business woman.
Right.
At a time when that wasn't as common.
Right.
And I'm sure that they butted heads. Like if you learn about Alexis's wedding, she wore like a gray day suit or something. Like
just to piss off her mom.
Oh, it was like
I'm obsessed.
Oh my God, I remember this.
Alexis Stewart wedding.
The drama between them is so fucking good.
It's like palpable through the tabloids.
Yeah.
Oh, here. Wedding.
It was just to piss off her.
Are you putting a picture of her wedding outfit on the drive?
It's not even like a wedding suit would be great. Oh my God, I love it.
This is not bridal at all. Please tell me you're adding it to the drive.
Where am I supposed to send this? Okay, I'll add it to the drive.
I want it on the blog. Please
like her
put it
mom
in the
was
drive.
present at the wedding, which was at the courthouse. But it was like the anti-wedding.
Yes.
Oh, she looks like a lawyer on her first day at work.
It's like a full-on
it's
blazer.
A double.
Where did you put it?
It's a double-breasted
in your picture.
blazer.
Oh, I see it. Oh,
with
wow.
like shoulder pads.
It's incredible.
And Martha has a boutonniere, but Alexis does not.
She looks like she's pretending she's cosplaying as a lawyer. That is the outfit.
Her hair is just down.
From the 80s.
Yes.
I love it. I love an understated
she looks
wedding
great.
moment. Not
She's
for
a beautiful
me, but-
woman. Yeah, a beautiful person, but yeah.
That is not a blushing bride outfit.
No, that does not. It's not giving me bridal.
Isn't that amazing? It's my
So-
favorite.
Here are some other quotes.
And Martha's in this photo is whispering in her ear, "You fucking
You did this just to hurt me.
Yeah, why would you
for
do
my
this to mother?
Like my mom when I decided
This is-
not to do printed wedding invitations, and
yeah.
she didn't talk to me for 2 weeks.
She called
Hey.
me to bitch about that. I was like, I've got nothing to do with this.
I am not part of this. She also wrote in the book, quote, "There was never anything to eat at my house. Other people had food. I had no food. There were ingredients, but no prepared foods of any kind." So she like wanted to go to the cupboard and get goldfish, but Martha was like, "Fuck no, we're gonna make our own goldfish.
She just wanted a snack.
I'm gonna grind the meal and then we're gonna season our own goldfish,
All
and you'll
I
have your
want are
goldfish
some
in a
snack wells.
Yeah.
Mom.
You'll have your goldfish in an hour." Martha seems to keep climbing to the top, even at the fabulous age of 80. And I will leave you with my.
Fucking 80?
She's 80.
She looks amazing.
She really does.
She
My
uses
God.
heavy blurring filters
Oh,
on
yeah.
Instagram. It's incredible.
And on Martha Stewart Living,
But-
like on her show. She's
Holy
basically in a cloud.
shit, she's 80?
Yeah.
She's 80. Yeah, she looks great.
Mm-hmm. And
But I'll leave you now with my favorite quote from Alexis's book. Quote, "Mother always peed with the door open." Mother.
Imagine being famous and then your kid writes a tell-all book about you.
Why do you think I'm not having kids? Just in
It's
case.
not even that she's famous. She's fucking Martha Stewart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like
Everything
iconic.
is
That's not
perfect.
even.
This is
Just
how
Mother
you
always peed
embroider
with the door
and hem
open.
your own floral curtains for the sunroom.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine having a sunroom? I would love a sunroom.
Yeah.
My grandparents had a sunroom. And
Locked?
it was my favorite place. And it also had one of those TVs that
solarium.
sat on the floor that was
Love.
7,000 pounds.
It was
Like in its own
Furniture.
console,
And you
like a wooden
change-
console.
Yes, it was like encased in like a wooden thing. And you change the channel like chunk, 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 chunk.
Yeah.
We had that TV in the unfinished basement
Yeah.
at my house in Minnetonka.
Yes. Yes, you
Love
did.
that. And we always got like a universal remote for it, and I always lost it.
You had
Every
like
time.
rigged up like a VCR.
Oh yeah.
That like jankily plugged
Hot-wired.
into it because it wasn't
Hot-wired.
made for extra appliances.
We could
was
get the Nintendo
before
64 to
VCR.
play on that fucking thing. We figured it out. I'm basically an engineer.
Little tinfoil.
Yeah.
Good.
Let's go. It got like
Conduct.
15 channels. Let's go.
13 never worked.
Martha would tell you how to do that.
She
but
would. Anyway, that's my case.
Holy shit.
I love her.
Wow.
Amazing.
Technically not pink collar crime, but I love where your head's
It's
at.
a white. Well, okay, to be fair, the first time I looked at the drive, it was just collar crimes.
True. Kenyon made us change it.
I wanted it to be more specific.
I like it. But I understood the assignment, but this is what I get for getting ahead.
Don't
on my
ever get
research.
ahead.
So I'm just never going to do that again.
Never write your notes before the day of recording.
Never.
All right, we got to go because there's major thunder here and I don't want to lose this recording. Okay, we
Okay.
love you all.
See you
Thank
next week.
Allison Atterbury.
Bye.